matters.
So all this being said, reality check's coming next week. Okay, you beat the Bucks, and you barely did. You banked it off the goalpost to win at the end of. No, listen, you banked it off the goalpost to win at the end of the game. You won. No one can take that away from you. But at one point in time, C.J. Stroud beat the Browns with no one at quarterback. Like this is the same thing that happened last year. C.J. Stroud beat the Browns. Oh my God. C.J. Stroud and the Texans are here. They're legit. They're real. And I'm a hater for saying they're not. How'd that play out? I think Jaden Daniels is having a better rookie year, and I think he looked really strong today. And my point was never about Jaden Daniels. It's about the Commanders. There's going to be a rude awakening next week when you go to Detroit. Jaden Daniels is the real deal. You can win a Super Bowl with Jaden Daniels if he plays like this and gets better. 100%. But this roster's not it. Like, that's just the truth. It's going to be a rude awakening next week in Detroit, and it's going to be just like last year when C.J. Stroud beat the Browns and then went to Baltimore and had the same rude awakening. Like, it's just, I don't know if, like, the point I was making about the Commanders is any different this week than it was last week. It's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I expected.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels played a great game. Shout out to Jaden.
No. But you're right. Jaden Daniels is fantastic, but they have won games this season despite the roster.
Yeah.
And the roster hasn't changed since when we came into the season. The only thing that's changed is that Jaden Daniels is a real NFL quarterback.
Yeah, like, let's be realistic about the Bucs. They're 10-7. They won the worst division in football, and they went on the last week of the season against the Falcons. This was not a team anyone was picking to go 2 or 3 rounds in the playoffs. It wasn't a great opponent. It's still a great victory for the city of Washington, for the Commanders. But let's not pretend this is like, the Commanders are here as one of the elite Super Bowl contending teams in the NFC. They're not. It's a great step for them. They have a lot of work to do on this roster. That's all I was ever saying.
Don't tell those people in the comments. Let's go over to Tampa.
So we're just not gonna talk about that, or just gonna move on?
What do you want to say? Everything you say, you just like. If I say they won, like, well, they beat Tampa. But
it's the C.J. Stroud thing.
I'm like, Jay Daniels played well while they only play Tampa. Okay, never mind.
Like every compliment's backhanded. Like,
it's like
he had a great passing game, but the receivers are kind of sucky. They have a great offensive line, but they're always hurt.
No, I'm just saying, let's introduce a little context to this win, like the same way we did last year with C.J. Stroud.
That's fine.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not taking anything away from them.
Sounds like you are. The win. Like this win doesn't count.
What? I literally just said it's a great win. It's a great win for the city of Washington.
Then you always follow up by, but they did beat the Tampa Bay.
They did. Why is it like wrong to give like context to a situation? Like, was I not right about the Cleveland Browns last year?
You just don't give them credit for a win, a playoff win.
You didn't have them winning this game.
It was a great win.
Did you have them winning this game?
No, I didn't have him win this game.
Okay, well then that should be a personal loss for you then, saying okay.
Is that what you guys want? Okay, I want to take a personal loss that I didn't take the Commanders in this game.
I'm not saying take a personal L necessarily, but what I'm saying is like you're saying they're not that good after you just predicted they're going to lose to this team. Now you're saying, the team they played wasn't really that good, so I'm not really impressed yet.
Yeah.
What else do they have to do to impress you? You already had them losing this game, and then they don't lose it, and then you're saying, okay, next week will be the real test. It's like,
okay, so let me ask you: is this a surprising win to you? Like, are you surprised they won?
I was surprised. Yes,
because we are pro Baker on this show.
We love Baker for sure.
We all thought Baker was going to win,
and I'm still not surprised they won. The Bucs aren't some amazing team. They're 10-7. Look at their last couple games. They barely beat the Saints to get into the playoffs before losing the week before. This is not some team that was riding the heater. There's not some team that's immensely talented.
You had them beating them.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm saying you could pick a team to beat the other team and still think that it's going to be a close game, though. I got to pick someone.
Okay, well, close game or not, you had them beat.
I did, for sure. That doesn't mean I don't think these teams were.
Your opinion was that they weren't good enough.
Right, but good teams face each other.
Enough.
Right, but teams that are similar in talent level face each other, and one team has to win. You have to pick one. It doesn't mean that, the Bucs are like, I didn't think the Bucs were like, there's eons and eons better than the Commanders. No, they were two teams that were two of the worst teams in the playoffs. And the Commanders won, and props to them. They could only win the game that they were scheduled to play. I'm not taking anything away from them. But I am giving context that it was the Buccaneers you played. Just like last year when I gave context to the Houston Texans that it was the Browns with Joe Flacco that you played. There's nothing wrong with giving context.
I think the problem
can't always live in fairyland.
I think the problem is that you weren't
talking about.
The problem with that is that you weren't saying this or they had this energy a week ago when they were scheduled to play against each other. When they were scheduled to play each other a week ago, it was that's the end of it.
Yeah,
it was a great season.
Tampa was a good season.
Let's
Baker
pack it up.
Yeah.
So again, we're not saying that they're going to go off to do great things this year. We're saying is where was this last week when they were scheduled to play against each other?
Where was what? What are you talking about?
You were like saying, "Oh, Tampa's gonna win by a wide margin. Tampa's a real team." Washington got here because they didn't play. They had an easy schedule or whatever. That
those direct quotes is that's kind of you felt that I felt about this game.
That is how you thought about this game. You picked the Bucks to win.
Yeah, Tampa's gonna win.
I definitely picked them to win. Yeah, but it doesn't mean I thought like Tampa was like way better than them.
But you thought
one is 10-7, one is 11-5.
Hold on. But you thought they were better than them, though. Yeah. Doesn't mean if it's way better or even slight. You thought they were better than them.
So this is an impressive victory.
So it should be an impressive victory.
Have I not been saying that? It's a great win. It's a great impression. It sure is. But it's the Bucks.
There you go. Just wait for the other part. Yeah. It's a great win.
But it doesn't mean you can't give context to it. When Houston beat the Browns last year, it was a great win. It was the first win of the season. Great, awesome. But you have to give context to it. Why? Because next week you're gonna play Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And it's gonna be a little reality check. Just like next week, I'll say that now. Next week the Lions are much better than them, and most likely they're gonna kick their ass.
Okay.
Sorry about context, guys.
You just sound like
sorry about context.
You just sound like you did last week. Only it was the Bucks instead of the Lions.
No, I did not say about the Bucks. I did not say about the Bucks.
I'm saying as far as the outcome of the game, that's all.
No, them playing the Lions. Them playing the Lions is nothing close to them playing the Bucks.
I'm not comparing the teams they're playing. I'm saying the outcome. You said the same thing last week, and it wasn't true this week.
Okay, I don't know what impression you got from me, but if you would ask me a week ago,
the impression I got from you was that the Bucks were going to win this game.
Okay, well,
and they didn't.
Okay,
and you won't give the Commanders that.
Okay, let me know when I can finish the sentence.
Go.
Okay, well, if you would ask me last week, I would have told you if the Bucks were to lose this game, that is not the craziest thought in the world. The Bucks are not some great team that everyone who expects the Bucks to make a deep playoff run. Did any of you expect that? To win 2 games? Would any of you have told me honestly before the playoffs, yeah, the Bucks are going to win 2 games? No, you guys don't think
about him.
You guys don't even think
pretty highly about him last couple weeks.
We do because we love Baker Mayfield. But you could not honestly tell me right now you would pick the Bucks to win 2 games in the playoffs.
We'd have to see if the Bucks won tonight, which they didn't. We would have that conversation.
If they would have won, who would they play the next week?
Philly.
Oh,
yeah.
Listen,
we just talked about the Eagles right now.
We were talking about this in the car.
We're talking about how the Bucks have been the kryptonite to Philly. I'm just saying.
I was rooting for Washington because I did not want to see the Bucks next week. I didn't.
Tampa plays Philly very good, so we don't.
I did not want to see the Bucks next week.
They beat the Eagles this year when no one was playing.
They beat them last year, and then
right. They beat them last year. There's not the same team. This is this year, and they beat them when no one was playing.
They have a good record of playing against this.
Okay, so you would have picked the Bucks into Eagles?
Probably would have.
Stop.
They played. Okay. They played Philly well.
Okay.
That's they have.
Joey, you've said that yourself on this show. That you said the same thing that he just said right now. They played the Eagles very well.
I don't know how to argue this super hypothetical. Like they're like I don't even know where to go with that.
No, I'm not. Okay, we're not even talking about the Eagles. We're just saying that would have been a wild scenario if that would happen. We're just saying though, like your narrative switches so quick when it comes to teams that.
How did it switch? I'm saying the exact same thing about the Commanders. I'm literally saying the exact same thing.
I'm talking about their opponent. Like you keep switching on these opponents every time they lose the Commanders. All of a sudden, they're not that capable.
When have I done that?
You're doing it now. You're doing it right now.
Okay, listen.
You have
the Bucks whole winning. Commanders thing. All I was saying that they haven't beat a playoff team, which is a fact. That's not an opinion. That's not my feeling against the Commanders. That's a fact. They had not been a playoff team, and I was pointing that out going to the playoffs. Like this might matter. Like this might be a little fraudulent. They haven't been a playoff team, and they beat the Bucks.
They beat a playoff team.
Right. They beat the Bucks. Great, strong. But let's be honest about the Bucks. They are not one of, like a top.
But they're a playoff team. That was your thing
for sure. They finally beat a playoff team. But that doesn't like negate the fact that the point I was making that they did not be a playoff team during the year. Like I don't understand how that was like an opinion thing.
Okay.
You guys and everyone in the comments were like, "Well, come on, bro. That's your own opinion." Like, it's not a freaking opinion. I read their schedule.
Commanders, you need to go on a Super Bowl run right now, baby, because that's going to be the only way you're going to get Joey's respect.
Right.
Go on a Super Bowl run.
So in other words, you have nothing else to say.
Knock out Detroit, knock out Philly, knock out the
This
Chiefs,
is the exact. You know why I feel so confident, even more confident this year? Because this is the exact same conversation I had last year about C.J. Stroud, and I was dead ass right.
Those two
actually, he's back in the playoffs again.
Dead ass right. I was dead ass right.
Actually, you're dead ass wrong because he's back. He's back in the playoffs.
No,
again
exactly.
With the playoff win.
He had
two
a great,
number one defense in the
row.
So you're actually dead ass wrong.
No, exactly what I said would happen happened. He went to Baltimore and he wasn't it. And then we wanted to crown him going into this year, C.J. Stroud, as a Super Bowl contender, one of the top teams I've seen, and he wasn't it as well.
He's back in the playoffs.
He won a
He's winning a game.
You think he's a Super Bowl contender? Are we really having that conversation?
It's another.
We just talked about how they surprised the hell out of you, and now you're gonna be like, yeah, just like I do it. I told you C.J. Stroud was it.
These guys.
Who's switching narratives now?
He's proving everyone wrong. That's the whole point.
C.J. Stroud.
And
And
that's my point. He's proving you wrong.
The whole point is that he was going to have a better year, in which he's having a better year. It's the same thing with the Commanders. Like you keep saying,
C.J. Stroud had a better year, or he won a playoff game.
Hold on, we'll take
What about this year is better for C.J. Stroud?
We're talking about the Commanders
you made
right
the point.
now.
No, you made the C.J. Stroud point. What about this year is better for C.J. Stroud?
They're back in the playoffs.
That he won a playoff game? He did it last year. So what is better?
That he's moving on.
He moved on last year. What is better?
They're moving on.
He did that last year.
Going back.
You're
to back,
saying the same thing.
Going back. No, it's not the same.
He won a playoff game last year.
You were doubting them this year that they could even win one game this year.
You didn't have him go.
You were
to the
down.
playoffs.
You didn't pick them either. What the hell are you talking about?
No, you don't like CJ
Oh
Stroud.
my God! And yet you
It's
didn't
the
pick them
same thing
either.
with the Commanders.
And you didn't pick them either.
It's the same thing with the Commanders. You won't put respect on their name because you don't want to put respect on
You
their
guys are
name.
insane. You didn't pick them either, but I'm the hater for not picking them.
Why
didn't you pick them? Let me ask you that.
It is well
We
documented.
were the
you don't
Let me
loudest
ask you.
fans
Why didn't you
about
pick
it.
C.J. Stroud?
Joey, stop.
Why
It
did
is
you pick
well
CJ Stroud?
documented that you don't like CJ Stroud. He has to.
Can you answer the question? Why didn't you pick C.J. Stroud?
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson at the same time probably, and
He
then
has
you'll
to
respect.
he has to
that.
be Superman in order for
Can
Joey
you
to
answer
run.
the question? Did you pick C.J. Stroud and the Texans to win?
No.
Why not?
Because Chargers are a good team, and he beat a good team.
Right.
Then what do you have?
Right. But
So
if you
your
think
point
C.J.
doesn't
Stroud
mean-
is so good, why didn't you pick him to win?
Because Chargers are also a good team.
No, the answer is because Texas had a terrible year.
Chargers,
And you know they did.
Chargers are a good team. Number one defense. Again, he beat number one defense, and you're still like, I don't
AJ,
know.
do you have any thoughts here?
No, you're not going to want to listen to what I say. I agree with every single word Joey's saying. Every single word. Every single word about the Commanders.
You're
and
saying
Jayden
the same
Daniels.
shit.
I agree with every single word about CJ Stroud.
It's
CJ Stroud. We can't even have this conversation about CJ Stroud until next week happens. He's done the same thing that he did last year, and it's great. Let's see. I don't know why that's such a crazy thing to agree with. Again, I wasn't here last week to see what Joey said about the Commanders. Regardless of what Joey said about Commanders, we said this in the car. These were the two worst teams in the playoffs playing tonight: the Washington Commanders and the Bucks. I'm not surprised that the Commanders won.
AJ,
I'm not surprised
I hate
that
the
Commanders
Bucks. I hate the Bucks.
No, you
But
hate
yet
the
they're the two worst teams in the
They were the
playoffs.
two worst teams in the playoffs.
But I'm the Bucks hater.
Yeah,
This is
Thank
a
you.
great win for Washington, but it's not.
Bucks, I
It's
never
not
say you're
necessarily.
It's a great
Bucks
win for me,
hater.
to
When
be
did I
honest.
say you're a Bucks hater?
Huh?
When did I say that
mean Commanders
you're a
hater.
Bucks hater?
Commanders hater. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commanders hater. My bad.
You asked me. I agree with every word Joey's saying. Every word.
Stroud, you got uphill battle, buddy.
Yeah, against guys who just flipped on you like this guy.
Commanders
Who
hater.
didn't pick you in the first against the Chargers. That was your pick, my guy. That wasn't my pick.
But Joey, stop.
But nothing.
All
That
year
was
we
your
said
pick.
Stroud and Jayden Daniels. I don't know what you guys need to do. Good luck.
I don't know what they need to do for you to pick them for a playoff game.
They
They
just keep
gotta-
winning playoff games.
Maybe you'll pick them next week. You didn't pick them this
They
week.
just keep
this
winning
is-
playoff games, and Joey's like, nope, not good enough.
Why is this a me thing?
Well, you're also just putting it on the quarterback. Jayden Daniels had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But for the Commanders, like as a team, this is not a super impressive win. I mean, any other matchup, they beat any other team in the NFC playoffs, we're singing their praises. They matched up against the Bucks. They beat the Bucks. Those were the two worst teams in the NFC playoffs this year.
All right. Well, we all have strong opinions about how the playoffs have been going so far. And we're not even really one weekend. So we'll see how this goes.